Welcome to the second quarter. To my students, welcome to the second quarter, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the quarter. And I also hope that somehow you have enjoyed your first quarter. How was your first quarter? By this time, we will be moving on to the second quarter, and let's brace ourselves for for more enjoying journey in the second quarter. So are you guys ready? I hope you are. But before anything else, let me first introduce to you myself. I am Sir Joseph Iring Cubanez, and I will be your teacher, your grade 7 English teacher for the rest of the school year. Alright, so we will be focusing in the module 1, focuses on the use of listening strategies based on purpose. So in the whole module 1, we will be tackling on the different listening strategies, different listening styles based on purpose. So in our daily lives, one of the many skills that we use is listening. If you can imagine, from waking up in the morning, you already start utilizing your listening skill. Up until before you sleep at night, you are utilizing your listening skill. Upon waking up in the morning, we listen to the sounds of the things around us and to the songs that we like. We do listen to understand the message of the source. But sometimes, listening difficulties can also cause misunderstanding. Have you experienced having trouble understanding the message of the person you are talking to? Or how about when you listen to some news in the radio or television? So these two are but problems. Example of us problems in a situation in which could be considered as a problem that lead to misunderstanding. So listening comprehension can be the basis for your speaking and writing. That's right. Your listening comprehension is one of the basis for you to speak something or to write something. That is one of the receptive skills. So this skill, listening skill, is your skill to be used in acquiring knowledge, acquiring ideas, so that later on you have something to speak about and to write. You can be able to write and speak properly if you have good listening comprehension. How do you call something a sense as good listening comprehension? That is by about focusing into something that you are listening to, on the material that you are listening to. To be able to listen properly, you need to learn different strategies to develop your listening skill and use it depending on the purpose and the level of difficulty of the material. So that only means that you're going to listen to something else or to someone else considering your purpose. You have to utilize a specific listening skill or strategy based on the purpose that you have. So here are the learning competencies for this module 1. So in your first lesson, you're going to use listening strategies based on purpose, familiarity with the topic and levels of difficulty of short texts listened to. Specifically, you should be able to draw out the message of the song listened to. Predict content of the selection listened to based on skimming the questions first. Determine the purpose of your listening. Get the gist of a short video on a particular scene that caught your interest. And share experiences related to the material listened to. So these are the learning competencies. These are the uh, objectives of this lesson. I hope you will be able to do these competencies for you to somehow learn on the lesson that is the lesson for the first module about use of listening strategies based on purpose. So since we are talking about listening strategies, let us first define or give an overview on what is listening. What is listening? Listening occupies about 45% of the time that adults spend in communication. It is also one of the most challenging skills that learners need to develop, as it is probably the least explicit among other skills. If you're going to read some of the books, like it tells there that really listening is one of the most neglected skills. Neglected because we'll not be able to focus on this skill. We, as it is being stated here, that we are giving much more attention on speaking and reading. We neglect the importance of listening. As what I have said just a little while in the overview, that is listening is the basis, or your listening comprehension is the basis for writing and speaking. These skills are both important, but sometimes listening activities are not given the same attention compared to speaking and reading. It's just like that we forget or somehow neglect the foundation of our learning. We somehow forget the springboard of having the idea in our mind, because listening is one skill that is used or utilized in acquiring knowledge. That is one. So that later on you have something to be written or to be spoken. Listening plays a very important role in learning and understanding. If you fail to listen correctly and properly, misunderstanding may occur. That is now the moment of having this problem, misunderstanding. That is because we didn't listen correctly and properly. Therefore, one should be able to develop strategies in good listening. However, several difficulties may occur while listening to other people who are talking. So what are these difficulties? Uh, what are these problems that hinder someone to understand while listening to other people who are talking, conversing, or speaking in public? Several factors such as the speaker himself, the listener himself, and the environment can contribute to these difficulties. Specifically, some of the factors that contribute to these challenges are the speed and manner of which the speaker uses. The speed that talks about how fast a person is talking, and the manner is that how he talks. Because sometimes there are people who are talking just like in a way that he or she's chewing the words that that leads the listeners to miscommunication or misunderstanding. The noise of the environment. When you're talking with someone and suddenly a vehicle is passing by and you were not able to understand each other because you didn't uh, you didn't catch the words clearly what he or she is talking about. So that's one problem also. Another is the listener's full background or knowledge of the topic. That, like for example, when a teacher is talking about something and the student has not yet experienced such situation, so he cannot understand, he cannot relate, because it's because of the background information that he
has not on something that what the teacher is saying. Another is the poor vocabulary. That's when someone is talking about a certain ideas and the listener doesn't understand because he does not understand some words, like those words which are peculiar to him or her, so that would lead him or her to misunderstanding. So these are the challenges. These are the challenges that a listener might experience while listening to something or someone. These are the pointers to listen. Firstly, we can predict or guess the topic that the speaker is sharing based on the words that he or she is using. Reminder to my students that you have to bear on in your minds these pointers because uh, this is transpired in your motion. We use our prior knowledge when we try to understand the message of the speaker or the material we listen to. Of course, we use our prior knowledge, our own understanding, our how we understand certain things. It is important to listen to the whole material to get the message of the speaker. Of course, we should not rely on excerpt or a portion of a certain speech. We have to listen to the whole speech, to the whole material, so that we will know the whole the whole idea of the material you have listened to. Another is we should take note when we listen. And that's one important skill. Note taking. So that later on, after hours or days, you will not forget what you have listened to. Because what you have listened to just a little while is transpired because of your note taking skill that you utilized while listening.
Another, listening is very important in good communication. Of course, listening is one important requirement for good communication. Another, we listen to understand. Yes, we have to listen very well. That's that means acquiring knowledge. We have to acquire knowledge through listening. That is for us to understand the world around us. We should prepare ourselves before listening to something or someone. In preparing ourselves, that means giving ourself or paying attention to someone who is talking or to the material you are listening to. That is for you to have the focus so that you can understand or to grasp the idea what he or she is talking about. Another is that we should ignore words that are less important when we are listening. What we are after here is the content or the message itself. And we should not mind the words that someone is using. Another, when we listen to conversations, the words that people use help us to infer the type of relationship they have with one another. We can infer to that there is a big difference. There's a big difference in terms of the words that we are using when we are talking to strangers and when we are talking to our friends. You try to differentiate that the words we are using when we are talking with our friends are somewhat intimate, while the words that we are using when we are talking to strangers is somewhat or are somewhat formal. There's a big difference. All right. For your first activity, for your first task in your module, give a list of things that made listening difficult based on your experience. Your experience. You're going to write this in your separate sheet, in a one whole sheet of paper, together with some other activities to be written in your paper. So you're going to give three. You're going to give three a list of the things that made listening difficult based on your experience. That's your first activity. Another, songs play different roles in our lives. Sometimes it allows us to express what we feel. It can also help us to reminisce our childhood memories or other remarkable experiences. I think all of us have our favorite song. How do these songs become our favorite? It's because we appreciate the lyrics, because we like the rhythm of the song when we listen to. Depending on how the song relates to what we feel at the moment, we can have different interpretation on a same song. Alright, so for this activity, you are going to listen to a song. You're going to play the song and you're going to listen to it. Read its lyrics and may choose to do any of the following. I know you have the copy of the lyrics on your modules. And what you're going to do is to play the music and listen to the song. Jot down the words that caught your attention. Write vocabulary words which may represent the emotion that you feel as you listen to the song. Draw images which could represent the message of the song. Enumerate as many feelings that the song may draw out from you, and write your responses in your notebook or in your answer sheet. So this is the activity that you're going to do. This is the procedure. You're going to listen to the song. And this song is I Don't Want You to Go, a version of Kyla. You have there the link, and you also have the copy of the link in your on your modules. So you will be guided by the lyrics of the song in on your module while listening to the song I Don't Want You to Go, a version of Kyla. And you're going to do the activity as what I have instructed in the previous slide. And after that, you're going to answer also this. Are you familiar with the song? What is the message of the song? So you're going to write your answer on your answer sheet. And after that is a short test on about the song that you have listened to. You're going to write true or false depending on the given statement, 1 to 5 statement. And you'll do your self work in with 2 questions. Choose a line from the song or 2 statements that you're going to do. Choose a line from the song that has a great impact on you. What is that line from among the lines in the song? What is that line that has a great impact on you? That is something appealing to you. And another, share a story of or real life experiences you encountered which you could relate to the song. This is now how you understand the song that you have listened to by relating your own story, your own background to what you have listened to in order for you to have a connection with the song or material you have listened to, for you to understand what the song is all about. Okay? The listening strategy is based on purpose. So you will be utilizing your listening strategies based on purpose. So in the previous lesson, you have learned the main styles in reading. You have learned that as you read, you should know your purpose to identify the most appropriate reading strategy to be used. While in listening, it is also important to know several strategies so you can completely understand the entire message and avoid misunderstanding. Right. So here's a short test for you. Read the following questions and try to answer these questions. And you're going to write your answer in your answer sheet. These are 4 questions that you're going to answer. If you just have listened or understood the discussion just a little while in the very early part of this video, you will be able to answer this. First, what are the factors to consider when you listen? Another, what are the things to do when you listen? Three, why do you listen to someone or something? And four, why does a person need to listen? So I hope you can answer this because this might also have this might have also been experienced by you. So this is self-explanatory. So I hope you can answer. And here are some of the reasons why you listen. First, to obtain information. Yes. Why do we listen to the news in the radio or in television? That is for us to be informed of the current events that are happening now, to understand, as what I have just said, that listening is one of the skills to acquire knowledge in order for us to understand something or the world around us, to understand the world around us, to learn. Why does a student in a classroom setting has to listen to his teacher? It's for her or him to learn so that later on he or she has something to answer during the test. Another, to communicate. That is, as what I have said, that listening is one good requirement to a good communication. So in order for you to have a good process of communication, you have to listen. Another is to enjoy. Why we listen to the music, why we listen to the song. That's for us to enjoy. We are enjoying the music, we are enjoying the rhythm of the song. That's by listening. So that is one reason why we are listening, because we want to enjoy. All right. So here are some of the things that you should do while you are listening. Reminders. I hope you got the point here. So these are the things that you should do while you are listening. Listening for the main idea. The purpose of listening is to grasp the main points or general information presented by the speaker or from the audio or video you are listening to. When you listen, there are times when you get stuck on a detail, on a word, or on a phrase that you do not understand. This can hinder you to see the bigger picture of the message. When you are listening to get the main idea, you can possibly get the whole picture by being able to identify one crucial difference. Information comes in a sequence, and in that sequence, there are content words like nouns, pronouns, and adjectives that can help you form the picture. Therefore, you need to listen more carefully and attentively to capture the entire message. That is why you have to listen first the entire message before you grasp the main idea. It's just like when you are listening to a homily during the Mass, which is done by the priest. After the homily, you're going to get the main idea. What was the homily all about? And that's you're going to do when you listen during the Mass. Another is listening for details. You listen to gather information or important details or information. When you listen to get specific details like names, date, object, or place, you do not need to put your attention to entire message of the selection that you are listening to. You can ignore anything that does not sound relevant. As what I have said, the purpose. You're going to listen with a purpose. Because with this purpose, you know what you're going to listen to so that you can have your focus on that. So if just you're just going to if you are after with just like the names, date, object, or place, then focus on that. That is just your purpose, and that's the point that you're going to listen. This way, you can narrow down your search and get the detail that you need. You can also select the materials that you are going to listen when you need the specific details. Another, predicting the content. Your knowledge in world helps you anticipate the kind of information you are likely to hear. When you're listening to a news, you can often predict the kind of words or language that will be used. Your stock knowledge or any stored information in the brain can also help us predict the topic of a specific content. Another, inferring the meaning. When we listen, it is also important to infer the meaning presented by the speaker using clues and your prior knowledge to work out the meaning of what you hear. So this is now the use of context clues. So you have to use your vocabulary in order for you to infer the meaning. Similarly, you can infer relationship between people from the words they use. As what I have said just a little while. People who have intimate relationships usually use informal language, and those who have work relationships usually use formal language. I hope I hope you notice that when you are talking with your friends, you use informal language, right? By using context clues, you can also identify what is being said, who is speaking, and what is taking place. That is important. So those are but the different strategies, listening strategies that you're going to use based on purpose. Right. So these are the suggestions for improving your listening skills. All right. So before you listen, firstly, think about the topic of the text you're going to listen to. What do you already know about it? And what could be possibly the content of the text? If you have to do a task on listening, check whether you have understood the task correctly. Think about what kind of text you are going to listen to, and relax and make yourself ready to pay attention to the listening text. So these are but the preparations. This is how you're going to prepare yourself before you listen. So that later on, when you are in the listening process, you'll not be shocked and you'll not be stuck on on a specific detail that you don't understand. At least before you listen, you already have these preparations. Another, while you are listening, it is not necessary to understand every single word. Try to ignore those words that you think are less important anyway. As what I have said, when you are listening, do not be focusing on the words, because what you are after with is the content or the message of the text. So do not be focusing on the words, and words. If there are words or issues that you don't understand, use general knowledge as well as context to find out the meaning. If you still don't understand something, use a dictionary to look up the words or ask for someone for help. You focus on the keywords and facts. That's important, class. Focus on the keywords. Take notes to support your memory. As what I have said just a little while, that's one important thing in order for you not to forget the things or the ideas you have listened to. Intonation and stress of the speakers can help you understand what you are going to hear. Yes, the intonation can lead you to infer the meaning of what he or she is talking about. Try to think ahead what might happen next. What might the speaker say, or which words might they use? So that's important while you are listening. How about after listening? Think about the text again. Review. Did you understand the main point? Remember, you remember the speculations you made before listening. Did it turn out to be true? Review your notes. Check whether you have completed your tasks correctly. Did you have any problem with listening? So you are going to have now your review after you listen. You're going to think or recall on the process, and you're going to connect that into your expectations and have your output later on in your mind, that what was all about your listening process, your listening skill. Did it turn out to be true? You listen again to difficult passages. You can go back. If you really don't understand, you can go back and listen again to the passages. So, if you're going to follow these suggestions, you might turn out to be a good listener and you understand what you really had listened to. Thank you, my students, and I hope you learned a lot from this video. And see you in another videos that I will be creating in order for you to learn more about the subject. See you.